Okay, so the first time I went over this, I put one color everywhere, and then I added a second color everywhere. And now I've sprayed it, and I'm ready to start my third time over. And I guess, not going to limit myself anymore to just doing one color more at a time. I said before that I really needed to go shopping, but the good news was I did not really need to go shopping. What I needed to do was go look in my other boxes of extra pastels. So I did that, and now I think I've got maybe a few more things that I was missing. So I am going to start with the sky. Sorry about the sniffles. All right, that's a sennelier, so that just plowed right through that baby. Used about half of that piece right there. They're so soft. I have to say, I don't really love the sennelier sets I have. I mean, what I love about them is people gave them to me, but they just mostly really light colors. So I think if you're going to buy some senneliers, if you're in the mood for that, you want to go with buying individual sticks. I guess I better do everything down there I did up here. Oh, that looks like the same color. Could well be. I definitely need something darker in the water. Darker than the sky, so I'll try that. That's also the thing about the senneliers. I can really feel they've pretty much filled in the weave, the grain of the paper now. So if I want to, I'll probably need to spray it again. I mean, I probably would anyway, but to really finish it. Oops, sorry. Okay. All right, and then the hill just looks so blue, and it seems unreasonable, but you know what? I'm just going to make it bluer. And I'm also going to try to come up and tidy up my edges now around the colors, because otherwise things will start bugging me, like little red spots everywhere. Generally speaking, I've covered the paper so much that no one can really tell what color it was when I started. All right, I don't know, that is definitely seems like too much, but this is something else I just found, but it wasn't as dark as I hoped it was. It's amazing how dark they look sitting there, but then they're not so dark. But maybe I've got that mountain too dark, so let's try to lighten that up a little bit before we get too worried. Yeah, there's still not, I think that's kind of a better color, but it's still not really dark enough in those trees. No idea what that is. Darker, good. So what I'd always like to do is I'd like to get away with doing less detail rather than more, and having my detail be enough of a suggestion that I don't have to put in more fiddly things. So sometimes, I try to do is make a few things that look like fir trees, and then those do not, but and then just let that carry the information. But if you're doing that, you really have to pay attention to what you're looking at. It's not just being careless or something. It's trying to convey a lot of information without, in a very, wow, how to put it? It's like trying to tell a big story with fewer words. So it's poetry as opposed to a novel when you do kind of a shorthand for trees or something. All right, and so I'm actually holding my laptop quite a bit, not my laptop, my iPad right up here by my face because I felt like I just could not see the image because maybe the bright lights in the studio and stuff. And I noticed at that point that there were a lot of bare trees up in here, deciduous trees. It wasn't just all fir trees. There were some trees that had lost their leaves. And I thought that would be cool to try to do that feeling too. Because it's other notes of color that I can add in and not just have a big blanket of dark green. But I'm not really trying to finish yet. I'm just trying to make it better. But I am working longer in each place. And it finally went looking for some reds. We'll see what that is. That is red. The problem also with senneliers is that you cannot really break them. You just have to use them like they are because they're just so soft, they'll just sort of shatter. So I'm going to go back to a Rembrandt red to orange. One that I could work with on the flat side, but that's not the right color. Ow. Okay, so let's try a little brown. Just find myself using more earth colors and more grays lately, more than I used to. I don't know if it's just right now, this time of year, the fall, or what. And I need to roll up my sleeve. Okay. And then I really would like to get the roof the right color on that barn. So since I feel like I got it carried away with the red, maybe I'm just going to try a little green on it and then come back over it with something more red and just see how that goes. That's not bad for the side, but it's not quite right for the top. And I'm going to use a little charcoal right now so I can just redraw a tiny bit. And remember what I said about this, that about the perspective, about not letting your lines diverge, making sure they're at minimum parallel. But it's even, this angle is also so awkward that I'm standing at. It's very awkward to try to do any kind of accurate drawing. All right, well, that certainly seems like a little too, maybe I knocked it down too far. Okay, so happier with that. All right, and then that gray building, I did pick up some other grays, so let's see what they do. So a lot of, I mean, this is, I guess that's gray, but some of the purples look really gray too. But I think it's a little more gray, so that's a little better. And then I wanted the front of the barn. It's kind of a lie, but I wanted the front of the barn to be a little lighter, just because, not that much lighter though. Just like a little bit lighter. I just probably picked up maybe 25 more pastels, different colors, and so that's kind of a lot, honestly. Maybe that was too many to try to add at once. And then, so sometimes also the search for the right color to use is also the search for a pastel that has the right shape. So, you know, just to draw that little dark there, I can't use a pastel that's like as thick as my finger. And then I was going to So the front of the barn has to come a little bit out past the edge of the roof. Okay, I just redrew a tiny bit while the camera was turned off, just so I could get closer to it and firm up those lines a little bit. So now I'm just going to come up with my background color. I think that this side is too big on the barn now, but I am not going to go back and try to fix it because it just doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, I forgot to reopen up my laptop. No, my iPad. I've got too much stuff. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna keep working right over there by that barn. See, sometimes that's kind of what happens. You know, I just sprayed it and then use a color and it has a lot more impact than you thought it might. And so, yeah, anyway. And there's actually some bushes and stuff all along the front edges of these things, which is kind of nice because it just helps them sit back there a little more. And I'm just going to have to deal with those houses a little later when I can really reach them, because it is really just too hard to do that from this angle. And of course, the second problem is I just can't seem to find the right color. But I can't resist trying to fix this. So. And oh no, it does come, it comes down right that far. Actually looks like it lands right on the roof, so. All right, well that looks pretty bad. So I'll just have to come back to that because I can't fix it right now. Oh, we got trouble here. Okay, so the deal is that is right about at my eye level, the roof. So this and this need to be lined up with each other like that. And then so I'm just gonna have to figure out that house later. Except that it keeps bugging me so much, I don't think I can wait to figure it out. Let's just see if I could draw it a little better. It's this problem that it is just exactly lined up with that roof, so. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong, okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I can live with that for the moment. All right. I misunderstood what I was seeing. You know, it is kind of great that you could make it great big on your iPad so that you could see what you're doing better. But the other thing is when you do that, I mean, that's not how you see it in nature. You know, you can't zoom in. When you're out there, and when you zoom in, a lot of times you see more than you really should. That's not good. Oh shoot, I forgot to turn on my microphone. God. Okay, I'm back and have my microphone, and hopefully I have everything else I'm supposed to have going here. I just want to add some purple to this. It seems like it's too red. Okay, so now I just have to work on the bottom half of this picture and quit trying to solve my drawing problems. All right, golly. Okay, okay, so yeah, just moving on to here. Moving on to making one more thing way too bright. Okay, and now that cornfield. It's another Sennelier. So soft. You know, still, it's just all these years, Rembrandts are still my favorite pastels, and maybe that's because that's what I started with. I don't know, but they're just hard enough that you can layer lots of colors over them. They don't fill it in. Yeah, and some of the colors are not very good, but still, overall, I have to have my Rembrandts personally to paint. And on this better paper, I don't really even feel the need of the more expensive ones like I used to. Wow, I keep making everything too bright. Probably from painting too many sunny days. So it's like I put it in bright and then I have to tone it down with some purple or something. All right, well, just keep moving here. Too much value contrast too. I keep doing that. It's a thing on a gray day, there's just not as much value contrast as on a sunny day. The lights and darks are closer to each other in values. Okay, so that tree is supposed to be across the water. And there's a little red right in here and a little red in the reflection. And there is some red in those reflections, too. And the reflections on this side are just really dark. Well, I'm just going to see if I can break this one. It's a soft one. It's Diane Townsend. Oh, yeah, I could. I mean, it's very soft. I could break it easy, but I wanted to see if I could break it without shattering it. And then, yeah, there is some green reflections too over on this side from these things. So my reflections are a little small. But I'm definitely going to have to spray this if I wanted to finish it. Let's break another thing. Let's drop a few too while we're at it. Oh, golly, I just saw what the real problem is with my drawing here. I let this get too angled. So see, it is really good to walk away because people keep calling you. Okay, so it's something more like that. And the other one is a little more straight up and down. Okie dokie. Okay, back to this business. This could use a little more dark in here, I think. All right, so reflections. Oh, this might be okay for here too. Okay, and then there's all these little sort of reddish things on this side of the water too. Not quite what I thought it was going to do. Oh my God, and this ridiculous sandbar. Alrighty, well, I think I just have to spray it again. It's funny, it doesn't seem like usually I have to spray so much sooner than, but the thing is, I've got all these softer pastels, and they're just really filling up the weave of the paper, and I'm honestly having a pretty hard time concentrating at the moment. So it'd be better, even though I don't feel like I have time to do this another day, just be better to do it another day. Because this is too much. Okay, so I redrew a little bit. There were some things I knew were wrong. The barn, turned out the trees were too short. These guys were all the same size, so I tried to make them a little varied. Tried to get these shapes in a little better over here. And I am going to start with the sky. A really good time to draw is when you first come back to your picture, because you're seeing it then with fresh eye. So, and it has been a few days, and it's been a crazy few days since I worked on this. So, but it hasn't been as long as the last demo, the time I spent between when I worked on it. So I'm not feeling quite so disoriented. And like I can't remember even what the point was. So I did spray it quite a bit, and that does mean that it's gotten, darker. Sorry about that. And you can see right here, actually, under the clip, where it's a little lighter than the other places. And I don't really like that. I got that kind of tan color in the sky, which I'm not loving. So I'm just going to try a darker purple. And then something a little lighter again. This is a gray. And I'm trying to cut into my trees at the same time here and work on that edge a little bit. Make it a little more tree-ish. Not up here particularly, behind this further away hill. I can see a little variety in it, but I know that I'm not going to be able to do it with this big old pastel. So I'm just going to leave it like it is, and that'll just be one more thing that helps that go to the distance. I could do that a little bit, just drag a little lighter in there. Just going to try something just a little warmer right in the sky along the tree line. It's just a fake sky I dropped into the photographs. So I'm kind of questioning the wisdom of that right now, because the more things you have to make up, like the harder life is. And the famous last words of mine were, "Oh, I don't need a real sky in there. I can do just fine on my own." All right, so I think that's not too bad. So I'm just going to tighten my easel back down a little bit. The top here was so close to the sky, and it didn't really want to move everything. So, all right, and so I don't know, like I kind of want to work on that, but I think I'm going to work here. I don't know what I'm going to do, honestly. Oh my God, I'm going to work on the water. I'm not making that mistake again. I'm just using the same colors I was using up in the sky, and then maybe I'll add more darks back in when I add in the dark reflections. Another thing I kind of want to do here is I've never kind of had the road in, so I want to put that in and see how that's going to go. Okay, well, that's a start. Man, okay, I guess I'll work on the tree line next. I really don't know about the roof of the barn. The trees seem a little dark back here, so if I can lighten them up some, then maybe the barn will look, maybe I'll be able to figure out what the deal is with the barn. I kind of like that. So I wanted to try to be able to show the difference between the pine trees and the deciduous trees. I'm making the pine trees, I'm using a little more of a blue-green, and for the deciduous trees, I'm using a little more of an olive green. And then I didn't realize I had this way too small, so make these guys bigger. And a combination I really love is that kind of olive green and then violet. So probably not supposed to love things, but there you have it. I do love that. Probably just supposed to be seeing what's there and doing that, and not getting sort of, I mean, sometimes you can get away with putting in something just because you love it, and sometimes you can't. That was way lighter than I thought it would be. So the light on a gray day is coming from above. So it's kind of the top planes that are the lightest. All right, and this is that big pine tree in here. So I'm going to use my darkest blue for that. And get that little thingy in there. And then there's another red tree right here. Okay, so this is this is in front of that tree, and then that tree is in front of the other part. So I think these are maples back here, and I redrew because I felt like I didn't quite have the maple tree shape. Oh, I'm not sure I like that. I got that kind of in the wrong place, that red tree, but it was kind of better with the green behind it. So maybe that's why I ignored that tree before. So it wouldn't just be right there next to the barn, the same color as the barn. Yep, that's not really what I wanted either, but luckily it doesn't seem to be making any mark. Okay, let's see what else have I got. All right, well, something like that for now. And then we've got all these trees without leaves, which I just love the colors. Do not know why I did this. Things are getting worse. Okay. Okay, and now the trees Yeah, I remember all that stuff I've said in the past about how I always work from the back to the front. Well, I'm not doing a very good job of that, and it kind of creates more work then when you have to go back and like put what's in the back and then come back and put what's in the front. But I don't know. I don't really know why. It just seems like I can't make decisions. I have to do things in the order that I can make decisions. And I don't feel like I can make decisions without some of these front things. All right, that shape of that pastel is really not working for me. So there must be something else I can use. So sometimes the shape just doesn't work, the shape the actual pastel is, and then I just have to try something different. This is not exactly working either, but I just thought I would try it instead of just putting in fiddly little lines. I can put in some fiddly lines. Okay, and then this bush here in the front is much greener than the others. So. Probably not that green. Another thing I realized today that I'm not doing a very good job on is getting a nice even layer of fixative. And it is really hard because of wind, and it would be amazing to have a spray box, wouldn't it? Something that you could put it in and it would suck the air right out, and you would never be subject to the wind or anything. Okay, why have I never thought of that before? But now that I've thought of it, it seems like a great idea. And I'm having a little trouble here with getting, you know, some of these darks I should have gotten in there first and then come back over with the light. No. Just all the grays just look so much darker than they really are, I've noticed. Well, you cannot get that cannot pick up the right thing for that. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, barn. You think I can make a decision about the roof of the barn yet? Maybe. No. No, I can't. I can't find anything. Actually, what I want to work on was the side of the barn. So I had to redraw right here, and it's causing some troubles for me. Oops. So I just never, I'm not sure when I pick something up, and then I try it, and then, okay, well, I like the little what it added to that color, but it was a little too much. So coming back over it with the purple made it kind of what seemed okay to me. And so the way I work is that I don't see it as just one color. It's some sort of combinations of colors. So if I try something and that color isn't isn't it, well, that's okay, because I'll just add something else to it. It's not like it's a one-shot deal. And this little house. See, so like that's too much, but that's okay. Too much is okay. So maybe if you're oil painting, you would be mixing these colors up on your palette, but because it's pastels, you in a way you layer them. You don't mix them, you layer them as you go. Yes. So either the roof has to come back further. I guess the roof has to come back a little further to make that house fit behind the barn, because when I made the barn thinner, then the house was too fat, too thick. And of course, the edge of the roof was exactly lined up with the edge of the roof of the barn. So, all right, but that's okay to me. I can believe that. And, sometimes you just a little bit of a suggestion of a window. That's just with charcoal. That it just can really help. And then, yeah, I'm not going to do this looks like there's a barn door on the house, but I'm not going to do that. So I put in the little windows, and then if they're too big, that's okay. I'll just come back with my color that I was using for the house and just kind of come around them again. And make them a little smaller. And I just did that with a piece of charcoal because I didn't want them to be too dark. And I'm just going to leave it that way. I don't think it matters. I think it used to matter more when I used to spray my paintings at the end. The charcoal wouldn't kind of hold up to the fixative, but it just doesn't seem to matter now since I don't spray them at the end. Totally mixed the color on this bush. This is not a green bush at all. Look at that. I thought that was so dark. And then it's so light. Yeah, I might just use my charcoal again right up here. And I might just take that right out of there with some purple because I don't like those little scratchy strokes. So. I'd like to get, it seems like there's a little purpley something at the top of that. I'd like to kind of get that. And I just don't have enough darks down in there. I wish I had done them in the beginning. So if I get some darks in there, and then I feel like I just still have to come back on top to a little something. And I never worked on the barn. Yep, okay, that's not going to work either. Let's try this. Wow, well, the barn and the little bush really look alike, don't they? I mean, they do kind of in the photo too, but. Oh, maybe that's a dark gray. No. And it's just charcoal. I just cannot find anything for the barn. Okay, I'm just going to say that's, for now, that's going to be, because I'm supposed to be finishing this, not just. All right, so now this ridiculous cornrows. All right, so I'm going to try to remember here. Start with something dark. So the front edge of the corn is dark. And that's kind of a nice way to show that that's the vertical plane along the edge, and then what you're seeing in the middle is more the top plane. Okay, so I think I'm standing right here. And then I need some sort of green in here too. It's really easy to pick up something and you think, wow, that's working pretty well, and then you use it a little too much. So just have to come back and mess it up a little. And then just trying to figure out ways to pull the front edge toward me by putting a little yellow in it. And this green, it's a little too much, isn't it? And it's still a little too much, so let's just see what else happens. I just want to say, among the many things I really truly hate, grass is one. So there, I did use the same color going all the way back on those little humps of grass stuff. But I used a real lot pressure, a whole lot less pressure on the ones in the back. And then I'm going to tone down some of that with a little of the olive green, so it's not such a strong color. It's kind of a big lie, because honest to God, they all look about the same to me. All right, and I really got to do something about the water. Something about the water. And I think I'll have to come back and do any other details I want to do. I'll have to do them later when I'm not standing behind the camera. No, you're too light. You look so dark, but you are too light. Okay. Thing is, if you fail at the water, you just have to spray it again. That's just how it is. And actually the water is super calm, so I should... All right, well, if I really want to do that, I'll have to come back to it, work on it more, I think. Okay, let's see. So this is my charcoal pencil. I just need to get some of that light gray out of there. And then I'm going to use my white charcoal pencil to... put a little of that stuff in. Talked about putting in the yellow road sign. Okay, little yellow flower. Okay, I'm going to see if I can... So I just used my... I couldn't make the shape with that pastel at all, so I just used my charcoal pencil to... Back and forth, back and forth. And these are what I sign my paintings with too. Either the black or the white, depending. They're general white charcoal or a dark charcoal. Okay, so I'm gonna call it quits because any other details I would add would just be kind of silly, I think. And maybe I want to get rid of some of the other details even, but it's going to put a little actual charcoal pencil in those windows. Okay, thanks for watching.